Good afternoon, professors. My research is called Gender Stereotypes in EFL Coursebooks and Writing in Adults in Higher Education. Okay, as part of the introduction, before and after, of course, the creation of this EFL coursebook, there has been a wide amount of gender stereotypes. Okay? And nowadays it has decreased, but sometimes the books that students use are very old. The area of this research is educational research, and it attempts to gain a better understanding of the educational process, generally with a view to improve its efficiency. In this case, to help teachers to deal with new views on regarding gender stereotypes. Previous research done in this area, there are mainly three. The first one is from 2014, and this author wanted to compare two different coursebooks, one from the 70s and one from this 21st century. And he got to the conclusion that women are significantly underrepresented and defined by appearance, marital status, and involvement in domestic chores. In 2006, the authors went to check on the gender stereotypes regarding women, and they got to the conclusion that female characters are mainly stereotypical or non-existent. And regarding writing and stereotypes, these authors got to the conclusion that the influence of gender on writing development is a view that writing is a social practice that shapes and is shaped by gender meanings. At this point of the students' education, they are adults already, and so they have somehow determined stereotypes and beliefs. The research question is, are the students aware about the gender stereotypes shown in their EFL coursebook, and is it present in the writing production? The general objective is to describe the degree of awareness of the students regarding the stereotypes present in the book and the writing production. And the specific objectives are to identify whether the students are aware of the stereotypes being shown and promoted in the coursebook, and to determine a possible connection between the stereotypes from the coursebook and their writing production. The research assumptions are that students identify the stereotypes shown in their EFL coursebook, and they accept them and use them in their writing, and that there is a correlate between the students' culture and or the stereotypes of the culture and the culture presented in the book. The main concepts in this research is mainly language learning, and inside of language learning, the learning of a culture, and through gaining knowledge and understanding of the cultures that use that language. And this can be seen mainly in the way the EFL coursebook treats different topics. The skills, productive skill of writing, of course, and culture is defined as a whole, which includes knowledge, belief, art, laws, moral, and so on, from a society. Gender is generally misunderstood because sex is the biological gender individuals are born with, while gender is a combination of three different steps: identity, the expression of the gender, and the role. And stereotypes are beliefs about the characteristics of groups of individuals, and stereotyping is the application of these stereotypes. Therefore, gender stereotypes are not only the stereotypes characteristics, but also the standards set for men and women. And the main gender stereotyping steps are personality traits, domestic behaviors, occupations, and physical appearance. And those 4 appear on the EFL coursebook the students use. The main theoretical references talk about how men's masculinity was used to define norms of religion, science, citizenship, law, and authority. Even though nowadays it's more common for men and women to share gender stereotypes, these are more accepted in developed societies. And regarding culture, culture in second language acquisition, Brown stated that both learners and teachers of a second language need to understand cultural differences to recognize openly that people are not all the same beneath the skin. The paradigm used for the research is the qualitative method, and there are some of the characteristic techniques that are present in this method as observation or documentation that I use. The design belongs to microethnography, and inside of microethnography there are three key elements. The first one are key informants, the fact that it understands social organizations, practices, and problems, and it focuses on social interaction rather than the individual. So it looks not to generalize the results. The procedure consists of six steps. The first one is the initial and total immersion in the field. The initial immersion is given by getting to know the routines of the students, the relation they have between themselves, how they interact, and how important is the book for them. And the total immersion is given by the different interventions that I carried out. The data collection procedure are field notes, observations, a survey, and the collection of professional documents from the students. There was a selection of key informants that was done randomly. Here 4 students were chosen, 2 men and 2 women. Then the analysis of the information through graphs and, most importantly, categorization matrices. And the next step is the interpretation of the information, and finally the conclusions. The context of the research, the students belong to an intermediate English class at Universidad Santo Tomás, and there were 29 students, 19 men and 10 women, and the key informants, as I said, were 4 students. The data collection and analysis, the observations, the main purpose of them was to get the students' participation in the class, how they interact. The field notes to identify the gender stereotypes present in the coursebook. Documents to identify gender stereotypes present in the writing. A survey to identify the gender stereotypes present in the students' lives and their language. And a focus group to get the students' beliefs regarding the stereotypes present in the book. The data analysis, the first step was to analyze the observations and field notes through categorization matrices and open coding. And from this, it can be shown that there's a higher participation of male students in the EFL classroom, and they tend to take more risks also. The survey was analyzed through graphs and then coding. And The results show that none of the students had big traces of stereotyping, and the answers that they provided were mainly gender-neutral answers. The documents were analyzed through discourse analysis, and the conclusion was that there might be a gender stereotypes in students' writing because of the use of the EFL coursebook that contains them, and made the students unconsciously accept them or employ them. The trustworthiness of the study was given by the truth value, the triangulation of the techniques. The consistency was through the saturation of categories, the dependability and transferability. Okay, this is like the final matrix that I arrived. The participation in the EFL classroom, as I said, was mainly men were mostly participating. And gender stereotypes in the course book, it might be related to the date of publication of the course books. The attitudes about the gender stereotypes were rather neutral, as I said. And gender identities in writing production might be because of the course book, or from their previous own identities. The analysis of fulfillment of research objectives, it shows that there might be a correlation between the stereotypes in the course book and the students' writing production. There is the description of the gender awareness of the students regarding the stereotypes couldn't be fulfilled. However, the description of the degree of awareness of the students about the stereotypes in the course book, as I said, the students have a rather neutral perception. However, it fails to identify whether they are conscious about the stereotypes present in the EFL course book. And regarding the students' culture and the culture presented in the book, it can be said that there is not a massive clash between them and that they are mainly similar. The limitations of the study are based mostly on data collection techniques. A focus group couldn't be performed because of time constraints, and there was a limited number of professional documents from the students. The contributions from the study are to expand on the topic, since most of the research is done analyzing the materials and not the possible effects that they will have on the students. And also, most of this research is not considering writing skills. Teachers could learn from this to work with different gender issues and cultures in their classroom, and it can help to expand and question the stereotypes of future professions. The suggestions for further research include the better design and choice of the data analysis techniques, possibly a study about the students' personality factors and their beliefs about gender stereotypes, and try to identify whether they are aware of what a gender stereotype is and what gender stereotypes they might have. The metacognitive analysis regarding this research, I think one of my main strengths was the appropriate and reliable theoretical resources to support the study. A weakness was trying to find documents to analyze the writing part of the study, and the challenge is to improve the data collection techniques. As Hernandez, Fernandez, and Baptista said, the collection techniques are wide for qualitative research, and I tried to grasp most of them, but I didn't have the time to do that. And regarding the internship, my main strength was that the method that I chose to teach to the students, considering their needs, that is mostly speaking. The weakness is also that the focus on the class was on speaking, and therefore the students were not highly proficient in the other skills. And the challenge is to provide feedback and correct mistakes, because my focus was on fluency, not in inaccuracy. And Brown talked about providing feedback in a very explicit way, which I didn't